Welcome home, family and fellow citizens of the African Order. I'm here with another video, and the topic of this discussion is you question my intelligence. As I mentioned before on previous videos, I was at an event supposedly for uniting black people, and when I spoke about my ambition, the girl gonna say to me, well, you gotta prove to the people that you smart enough to run an organization like this. And I said, the proof should already be in Washington right now. Because nobody can be as dumb as these mother effers up there. Anybody can be better than what we got in Washington right now. I mean, it's sad that whenever it comes to black people uniting, building for themselves, determining their own way of life, determining their own path, they'll distract themselves just looking for somebody else to come in and do it for them. And no matter who come in, no matter who steps in and do it for us, we will be at the mercy of whoever do. So this is why I said there's no sense in continuing doing this unless you're going to be the person to take charge. Because if you don't like how white people are treating you, how do you know you're going to like how somebody else is treating you? That's why we got to take control of ourselves. We got to open up our own businesses and injuries, political interests, create our own economic opportunities, so that we know we're dealing with people that we know and trust, that's committed to us, that's connected with us. These fools ain't connected to us, not in the slightest. You question my intelligence. Look at these fools up here that just spent 20 years fighting a war in Afghanistan, spent over $2 trillion. You left billions of dollars of equipment behind. They didn't even have a Air Force when you got there. You gave it to them. All the time knowing that these people was a strong likelihood that they would not even fight. And you gave them, you trained over 300,000 people. The Taliban is only 50,000. 6 times the size of their mortal enemy. And these fools gave up everything that you didn't accomplish. And you actually questioning the intelligence of anybody else? I can get a bag of turnips and put in that White House and feel safer with that governing over me than what I got up there now. You know, $2.3 trillion, airplane, tanks, jeeps, whatever else you done left over there. And when you leave out of there, not only do you leave the Afghans who was help translating for you, risking their lives, helping you interpret what that Taliban was saying, you leave and then leave them behind. And then when you left, you didn't even take the keys to the vehicles with you. At least make them hotwire the planes and trucks. You left the keys, plane, fuel, everything behind. And you questioning somebody else's intelligence? Then you got the Pentagon sitting up here, come out on TV the other day admitting that they killed 10 people by accident. 7 of them children. All because you was following the wrong vehicle. Supposedly some imminent threat was some guy was driving I think a white Toyota or whatever. So because you didn't have the time to check and double check, you just start following any white Toyota. It's a plethora of them over there. You just picked one and started tracking it. You ain't know where that car came from. It could have came from a school board meeting, bakery contest, anywhere. You just saw a white Toyota, just start tracking it, and then drone and attacked it and killed 10 people. Now you got all the people in this family, friends, relatives, hurt. because of what you was in a haste to do. And not only are they hurt, they're angry. So now they're even more willing to join the Taliban than before. And now you done left planes, bombs, equipment, all to make them even more of a threat. And these Negroes over here trying to question the intelligence of somebody trying to get away from this? Are you serious? When are you going to start questioning their intelligence? Now here you go. You got thousands of Haitians sitting behind the border. Haiti was rocked by an earthquake. Thousands of them displaced. They're risking their lives trying to come to the United States. And you got them pinned behind the border saying you will not allow them to come in. And you got a lot of these fools talking about somebody they shouldn't let them in. They shouldn't let them in. Why shouldn't they? The only reason why you don't want them to come in because they're black. That's why. And because Haiti was the only country to successfully fight off their enslavers. So they always had it out for Haiti. And now they're coming over here for help. And now because you still bitter, because you still butthurt, because you couldn't enslave them, this is a chance for you to stick it to them again. Meanwhile, you got businesses and companies all across this country begging for workers. Help wanted signs. I can't go to a truck stop now and know that the restaurant is going to be open because I'm seeing signs all over the place. Lack of employees. Well, you got 15,000 Haitians at the border, ain't ate in days. You could take them right on, you can absorb them right into this country and give them all the jobs. But you won't do that. Again, because they're Haitians and they're people of color. Can you imagine what would happen if they did do that? You would then have the African towns or the Haitian towns or some community where it represents Haitian people, because they're not just going to come over here and forget where they came from. And there's no problem with that, because you have Asian has their Chinatown, Mexicans have their Mexican village, Mexican town, Polish town. Everybody else got theirs but us. But see, this country don't do what's right just because it's right. They do what's political, what will help their political interests. That's why they won't bring them in here. But it makes more sense for them to send U.S. tax dollars over here to Afghanistan for 20 years. But you can't. But you will spend millions of dollars to send Haitians back to Haiti, as opposed to paying them to come in here and fill up these jobs. What sense does that make? Detroit alone, at its peak, Detroit was almost 2 million people. We less than half of that right now. We got thousands and thousands of homes that was wrongfully seized by the city, lost by people not being able to afford taxes because companies have taken their business and left. And because they wasn't connected to the community, they weren't connected to the people, they sent the jobs overseas and left the people who moved into these areas with no ability to pay for their mortgage. So they had to leave. You could take all 15,000 of them Haitians and send them right here to the city of Detroit, and we still won't be over 1 million people. Still less than half of our capacity. And it wouldn't put an impact on nobody, but there's thousands of jobs that's available in the city alone. You would increase the population of the city. You would solve a lot of the underemployment problems. You would create your tax base, and just think of how much money these Haitians will spend once they start getting paid, once they start working. But you want to do things according to your political interests, as opposed to what's morally right. That's why I've always said, when you're dealing with devils, you can't have a moral path. You better have a legal path to get whatever you need in this life. Because when it comes to doing the moral thing or the legal thing, they're gonna choose the legal thing every time. Because by law they don't have to bring these Haitians in. But morally, if you have a compassionate heart, when you know these people homes have been lost, if you sent every last one of them Haitians to the city of Detroit, probably 90% of them will stay. They will have people that they know, people that they love. They have their own community right here. They're not going to be in such a rush to go back to a place where their home was just destroyed by earthquake. Who's to tell when the next one's going to show up? It's sad. We need people of consciousness in charge of our people. If we came together, we could have the money to bring these people up here. If we came together, we had the political power to open up these homes for these people to come in and occupy. If we had the economic power, we can absorb these businesses and put these Haitians to work as soon as they get over here. But we keep waiting on white daddy to do it for us. Before I end this video, let me say this. Things that's hard to do is always going to seem hard to do until you see somebody else do it. Things that you thought was impossible will always seem impossible until you see somebody else do it. I'm not about sitting back waiting for somebody else to liberate my people. I want to take an active part in being a person to liberate my people. So, with that being said, I'm going to end this video here. And if you like this message, please share it. And if you like this content, consider subscribing to this channel. And with this video, as with all my videos, it is for the complete liberation of my people. And I'll see you in my next message. Ashe.